Hey, Steb here. Today I want to talk about how I airbrush lacquer paint on ABS plastic without breaking. Yet. So what is ABS? ABS stands for acrylonitrile butadiene styrene. It's well known for its durability and strength, but also known for being weak to solvents, causing cracks and breakage when painting. So much so that big plastic model manufacturers like Kotobukiya cannot encourage painting ABS with solvent-based paint. Even at the end of their guide for painting ABS, they state that they cannot guarantee anything with their method and that they cannot take responsibility for any results. If the big manufacturers cannot endorse it, there's clearly a lot of fear in regards to painting this stuff. So how do I paint ABS? Well, the quick answer is going to be, I paint while mitigating stress. If you want the full answer, I would keep watching the video. But before getting into the details, I want to quickly announce that I finished my streaming setup. It's going to be live on twitch.tv/steb_plamo, and I'm going to try to stream my builds during nights on Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in any of my process or just want to watch someone work on model kits, I'll be there. I want to show how much stress actually affects ABS whenever exposed to solvents. So I put a tight hold on the parts with a clamp and applied varying amounts of thinner with and without retarder on them. As we can see here, they all broke, disintegrated, almost instantly too. Now let's see what happens if we reverse the situation. I'm going to apply a ton of thinner to this part with very little to no stress applied to it. So it's been around 10 minutes and there's no sign of damage at all. I tried this again with a few more parts for an even longer time and they all turned out okay. Based on similar tests that I've done in the past and my personal experiences, I believe that stress in tandem with the solvent is what leads to ABS parts breaking. I did a bit of Googling and found that this phenomenon is called environmental stress cracking if anyone is interested. So what's actually causing stress to the parts? Alligator clips. Some of them grip really tight. Clipping thin or already damaged areas is also pretty high risk. I actually broke a piece earlier during a different test. Sticking skewers too tightly into pegs. Even non-ABS parts commonly have cracked pegs from this. Building the kit too soon before waiting for the solvent to evaporate. A kit being assembled can mean pegs and joints being potentially stressed, especially if the film of the paint tightens the fit even further. If using retarder, I would take some extra days to let the parts dry before building. Some of you might be thinking, hey, I spray ABS normally and those don't break. Well, I sort of have a few theories regarding that. Number one, I think that the air coming out from the airbrush or spray can in combination with the naturally fast dry time helps the thinner dry quick enough before any stress can catch up to the parts. I think that this is going to depend on the spraying style and overall settings, so it should vary from person to person. Number 2, the paint doesn't come in much contact with the stressed portion of the parts, which brings me to my next point. Number 3, modelers often spray primer or surfacers on assembled kits. I think that a lot of these kits turn out fine despite having ABS during this process, due to the stressed pegs and joints being hidden during spraying. It also helps that the parts aren't individually held by strong clips. Number 4, the stress being applied to the parts is not enough, such as using weaker clips or using loose skewer with blue tacks. I use a method that I talked about in my previous video, how I hold really awkward parts for painting. I use a combination of non-ABS runners and superglue to hold the parts. On the ABS parts, I glue a piece of runner that the alligator clips can hold onto, leading to zero stress being placed on the actual parts. I personally really like this method because it is very stress-free for the parts. By taking away stress from the equation, it lets me not have to worry about other factors. It lets me use paint with lots of thinner. I don't have to worry about having a bunch of solvents on the part. And most importantly, I can paint a full wet coat at once instead of lightly misting a bunch of layers. One other thing I want to address is the use of primers and surfacers. I've heard these being recommended to protect the ABS from breaking, but I have some doubts. If the primers and surfacers are lacquer based, those would also contain the same solvents that harm ABS. So that's the theory behind how I paint ABS. Personally, I'm extremely happy with my results, but it would be irresponsible of me to guarantee that my method will always work for you. So I hope at the very least this information provided will help you in finding your own way of safely painting ABS. Thanks for watching.